Hello, everybody. Welcome, rock stars, one and all. Welcome to another episode of Rocket Live. I want to thank everybody who's watching this right now on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Really appreciate you all watching and hanging out with us right now live. Feel free to pop any questions or comments in the chat as we go. And I want to thank everybody who's going to watch this later on as the replay. Really appreciate all your support. And of course, everybody who will listen to this later on in its audio version. I am really happy to have my guest on with me today. Once again, I always feel like every time I have someone on as a guest, I feel like, oh, we've been talking about it for so long. And it's a real pleasure. So I have actually Kristie Veri is my very special guest today from Cleanscape Construction. And Kristie and I have known each other for a little bit now. We're involved in several networking groups together and have really connected. And Kristie's got a really great story, and we always get into these awesome conversations when nothing's recording. So I'm like, you know what, we got to get on the show. We got to have the conversations we're having off the air, like on air, so people can actually listen and contribute and get inspired or motivated. So Kristie, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Chris. This is wonderful. I'm excited to be on.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I want to start and frame this up a little bit because it's always so like, I know everybody and I've had so many conversations with you, but for everybody watching, I think it's worth just putting things into context a little bit. So why don't you share with everybody a little bit about yourself and also talk a little bit about your company and how you came in to being the co-founder of Cleanscape Construction.
So I'm Kristie Veri with Cleanscape Construction, and Cleanscape Construction is a women and minority-owned construction company. My husband and I own it. We are remodelers and builders, so we do anything from a bathroom renovation to a brand new house on the residential end, and then on the commercial end, we do small commercial. Cleanscape Construction was established in 2008. I actually had a background in psychology, going to school to be a school psychologist, and my husband was a third-generation contractor. And while I was in graduate school, engaged to him, I got a taste of the construction world. And so back in 2008, we decided to break off and do our own thing. And so we started off by handing out business cards, just connecting with different people. And over the years, we've built ourselves to be where we are today. We thank our customers, our business relationships, our friends that have supported us, that have connected us along the way, that have referred us. And, we are here today with an extensive background in the construction world.
Yeah, I love that. And I love, your backstory, because I love that you start. It's not like, oh, wow, I came from this family of like a line of like, construction and my grandfather, it's like you don't have that. It's like, no, I started in psychology.
Yes, but I am a certified school psychologist, but my husband had the background. He was
Right.
3 generations. And so it's an amazing field. There's just sky's the limit. There's so much to learn, and it's just so much fun.
And I love too, because I find that the background that you have is rather interesting, and a lot of things you and I get into discussions about usually centers around a lot about relationship building and building connections, which you and I know are very much aligned on this, because it is the cornerstone, I feel like, of building any business. Because for me, it's mindset, and then it's your relationships, right? And after that, it's that you're just continuing to build and continuing to grow. And so you and I share very similar philosophy in that. And it's interesting too that you do have that psychology background, because when we talk about mindset and we talk about the psychology of dealing with people and making relationships, I'm sure it's something you're able to use a lot in practice with doing what you do and dealing with many customers, different personality types, different people in your networks, things like that.
Yeah. I mean, we owe it all to other businesses and our relationships. We would like to say we're different from the traditional construction company because we don't market ourselves to a customer. We really build, flourish, and develop off of other business relationships in 2 ways. One, where we have the relationship that when they need us, we're available, and vice versa. There's some things that we cannot, complete, or we've established ourselves where customers, friends, potential customers will come to us for referrals in different fields because they know of our position with other businesses. And I mean, that's really what I really owe it all to that to how we've grown. When you're a business, you don't know everything. You need those relationships. You need to collaborate. You need to think outside the box. You need to be creative and unique, and, connecting with people in your industry and outside your industry is what has helped us to really create ourselves as a dynamic, comprehensive construction company.
Yeah, and well said, because really without those relationships and being to create, partnerships, things like that, it's you're not on an island. You have to forge relationships with people because you can't do it all yourself. And you need to have some real quality partners and just people in your life who are there to support you, but also, be very reliable and be there when you need them. And that is really, really an important part of growing a really stable business. One of the things I wanted to ask you about, and this is something you and I have talked about offline, but I think that the construction industry as a whole has really seen a boon, you could say, during the lockdown, right? Since and we're almost a year. I can't believe it's already almost been a year when we're doing this recording now. That since things had started to just begun to be locked down in 2020. Here we are in 2021. But it seems that as far as the construction side as things go, a lot of companies seem to really be able to stay in business, and it didn't it didn't hurt them as much as I think as other industries were obviously super affected. How did that happen for you? Did you? I feel like I know we've talked about it, but you saw an uptick more than usual, right, from years previous.
So the construction industry is a bit unique. There's definitely certain areas of construction that we've seen a serious growth in terms of, like, for example, when you're going to compare the residential end to the commercial end, we've definitely seen a huge increase in the residential end remodeling and construction versus the commercial end. But why I say it's unique is there's been huge hurdles in the construction world. For example, lumber is extremely high right now. And so, we're doing our best to guide our customers and their projects depending on what they want to do. Over the summer, it was very difficult to get any kind of exterior products. Hardscape is when you're making those decorative patios outside. Right. Those materials were, impossible to get your hands on. They were back ordered for months. So it has made it very unique because if, for instance, you're only doing backyard and hardscape and you can't get your hands on these products, your business is a bit on the quiet end. So there was, and there is still a lot going on. We have a new house build going up, and we are advising them if they could hang on a little bit longer. Lumber prices are extremely high right now. So when you have that factored in to your budget, and now your budget has increased by high numbers, not just a few thousand, that can definitely interfere with your end result. Maybe your extra molding at the end, or some of the decorative things that you were going to do, or maybe you were going to spend a little more money on that high end lighting, which you're not going to be able to now. So we've seen it's been a bit of a roller coaster in the construction world, and positioning yourself, making sure that you're connected to the right people, have access to the right products, get the right guidance. That's, again, I have to refer back to that whole business world. It's so important, so important.
Yeah, absolutely. You said a few things there, which I kind of want to pick out, because I do think that it's worth talking about this for a little bit. And once again, just want to remind everybody, and if you're just tuning in now, welcome to the show. I'm talking with Kristie Veri from Cleanscape Construction, and we're talking about her business, her background, how she develops relationships And so if you have any questions at all or comments or want to weigh in, please feel free to drop them in, and we'll either get to them or we'll say hi. Or if you want to just say hi, that's fine too. One of the things I wanted to ask you about, as you were just talking about, because I think now, so now here we are, February 2021, and this is a time where people are really starting to think like about these other projects that they're going to want to do. I mean, right now I feel like it hasn't stopped snowing, and we've just been hit with so much winter weather over the last couple of weeks. It's unbelievable. But I mean, this is a time where people start thinking about like these projects that they want to do, additions, decks, all these different home additions or renovations they want to do. With that being said, what sort of guidance can you give the people now who are starting to think about that, especially too with what you were saying a bit, like with supplies and materials? Is it worth waiting for a bit more? Like, what's the kind of quick guidance that you can give folks right now to anybody who's listening to this or watching?
Get yourself a really good contractor that is aware of the market, that is completely versed in what, alternative materials, things like that, and really have someone that is going to be there to guide you. I mean, we take our time to guide our customers. We're not going to push someone to complete something that's really going to put them out of their budget. We can definitely spend some time with you, review what, like some of the potential project that you'd like to do. We'd guide you where it's the best, what's the best project to move forward with at this point, what alternative things can be done. If certain materials aren't available, we could definitely guide you where house is now your multi-purpose space. It's your area of leisure. It's your area of work. It's your area of fun. And it's the place that you live. And so people have really embraced these projects that they've put on the back burner, but just know that you have the right person that you trust so that they can guide you appropriately. We're guiding our customers and they're getting their projects done, but they're not getting beat over the head with the certain products and things like that.
Right. So quick comment. We can't see who this is, but so lumber pricing has definitely increased, but insurance companies have increased their pricing systems.
Yeah, lumber
comment on that at all?
Crazy. They're crazy.
Yeah.
Right. No, exactly. I mean, yeah, the bottom line is if you want to, there's certain product, other materials may increase later on. I mean, it's always a moving market. I mean, the great news is that the return on investment is really good right now. House values are excellent, and people are getting appraised for higher amounts and getting more money from their, if they're doing a renovation loan, they're paying minimal interest on it. So if you want to look at it that way, you might pay minimal interest over 30 years, but you're going to pay a little bit more initially for lumber. So, right. It depends, and every situation is very unique. I wouldn't use that as a reason why you shouldn't do or move forward with something. Again, you have to really look at your scenario, your unique scenario, and see where it's worth investing and when it's not.
Right. Understood. No, and that's great advice. I mean, I think it makes total sense and common sense to do that. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. So one of the things that I feel like you do really well, and I think this is something that for anybody listening who may want to learn a little bit about how it is that you market yourself, because I feel like that you do a really great job really staying up to date and being very there's a lot of communication that you put out there, and I find that sometimes people in that industry don't, because it's just, and I get it, they're doing a lot, they're holding a lot of, they're wearing a lot of hats, they're on site a lot, and there's a lot going on. So it's hard to, really take these pictures and put things out there and be very communicative with everybody out there. But you seem to do a really great job with that. Talk a little bit about that, because I see you're on Instagram, you're very active on Instagram, you're active on LinkedIn, Facebook, all that. So talk a little bit about your overall strategy on that, because I feel like it really pays off, because but every time I open my phone or whatever, you're there. So
that's amazing. Thank you so much, and that's such a compliment coming from you. I think it's so important to just be out there and connecting and showing your work. Because, for example, someone may think that, oh, well, they're a construction company and they only do this kind of work, but that's not true. And so I feel like when people see the day-to-day progress, when people see the day-to-day process, number one, they get to see what it's like and the experience, which I think is so important. And I also think that they get to see our work, the different pieces of our work. Again, we could do something small as a bathroom renovation to a brand new house build. We could do something simple, streamlined, and, on the cost efficient price point, or we can do something really decorative. One of the things, and this is probably where it stems from, years ago we did an episode on HDTV, and HDTV shows you a very different perspective of construction. They show you work being done in like an hour or 2 days. That's just not realistic. It's not realistic.
It's magic.
It is. And the videos, with the project that we did, we literally worked 24 hours with the amount of people on set. Was just it's not realistic. And so I think people really need to see what actually goes on behind the scenes, and they're interested in it. I want to know, when I want to learn about something, I want to know what actually happens, not that it's going to happen in an hour. And so what I have found is that people seem to love it. They get engaged in it and they watch it more than I think they do. So I think that's where my drive is.
Yeah, I think a lot of behind the scenes stuff works really, really well. And I know sometimes people are a little nervous about sort of peeling that layer away. And, and I know there's a lot you want to be concerned with because, as soon as you expose that, it's like, you have some real sleuths who are looking for safety and this and that, and who's wearing a mask and who's doing this. And I get it, who has correct PPE and all that. And I understand that. So you do want to be careful, I guess, how much you're showing it and when you're showing it.
Yes.
But at the same time, I think letting people sort of see a little bit of that process and demystify it a bit, I think really goes a long way because of what you just said. People watch like that. And I remember, I used to watch Trading Spaces all the time. And, I love that show, but they definitely, they make it like, wow, in just like one day or what is it, 2 days, it's like you've got this whole transformed thing. And it's like, yeah, but they don't show you like all the other stuff. But you get a little wrapped up into it as if like, oh, wow, this is just going to take like no time at all to do.
Yeah, they don't, so it's fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy showing the progress pictures. It's great to see the different ideas. It's great to see the raw footage. I try to do raw pictures where there's still, if there's tile work being done, you're still seeing it unfinished. You're seeing some of the piles, some of the ideas. So how we do it, for example, I'll snap a picture of, backsplash, countertop and knobs together, and to give you an idea of, so the homeowner that's getting their home done knows how to prepare it and put it together. There's a lot of education there too. I think education is really important because if I can educate you, then clearly we know what we're doing.
Yeah. I think that's a really, really big point there. And that's something too that I know that you talk a lot about is, the empowerment, right? So information is power, right? Education is power. So really taking that time to, like you said, it seems simple, but yet, and this is a thing I think we all take for granted into what we do as professionals and what we do and experts in what we do, is that sometimes the simplest things that we know are so simple are really like such like gems and nuggets for other people. So, it's that place of coming from serving, like what you're talking about, to really help others to understand the process and to empower them and give them the knowledge they need. And I think that's really wonderful. So I want to talk a little bit about that because I know empowering people, spending time with folks is something near and dear to your heart, and how you get involved in helping other people grow and network. So talk a little bit about that and why you feel it's your responsibility to do that.
So I definitely, I love to surround myself with people that are looking to grow, that are looking to learn. I feel that no matter who you are or what you do, I always learn. You can always learn something from someone. Always. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. And so I feel like when I teach or when I get involved or when I collaborate, I actually learn from others. One of my favorite groups, let me give you an example, is so we do a lot of one of the business relationships that we have is we work a lot with lenders and realtors, and we do the construction end of renovation loans. And so I've learned from being in the field that it's a very unique, role where not many contractors get involved. And so one of the things that I love to do is I love to I collaborate and I give presentations at or with in real estate offices. And there are so many realtors that are not familiar with the process. And a lot of the times they may not feel comfortable with suggesting or bringing a client to a home that needs that renovation end. Right. And so my favorite thing is to work with those realtors, and they'll call me and we'll spend an hour plus on the phone. I'll do the same thing with customers, explaining the process, how it works, what they should be looking for, what they should feel comfortable with, what our role in their project would be, whether or not they're going to use us. This is all just valuable information that I will share. And I just, I learn from them because I learn what customers are looking for, what the current trends are, what they're finding in some of the houses, what they love about working with certain people, what they don't love about working with certain people. It could be their realtor, their lender, us. And so this helps me and us to establish our company to be much more valuable to our customers.
Yeah, I think that's really great insight there, because at the end of the day, I think the more that you share, and the more you serve and the more you can inform your customers, the more they're going to want to keep working with you. The more they're going to look at you as, they're going to turn to you as a source of information, whether it's for that specific project or something else. Like, you have now just become a very valuable resource to them in their life to help them with different problems they may have, questions, whether it's construction or business related or something else. But and I think that's really important, to set yourself up like that with the relationships you have with people, is being able to turn yourself into like that hub, where people could really turn to you and come to you and ask you for help, or, hey, do you know anybody who could do this? Or have you worked with anybody like this? Or, hey, here's a situation that's going on. Have you dealt with it? So it's just being able to be very approachable and very accessible too, I think is very, very key to success.
Yeah, because every time you help someone, you learn something new, and you learn another way to present yourself or where you could be available. Wow, I didn't think of that. I didn't realize people would use us for that. Or I didn't realize that's a great target market for me. Wow, I need to spend a little more time with this particular profession or this avenue, and, get more involved in that area. And so, yeah, it's very valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And let's see, we got a little comment here. Oh, here we go. From Mary Jo. Just saying hi to you both. Great info, Kristie. I really had no idea you do smaller projects. I thought you only did new home construction. Yay. Glad I tuned in.
That's awesome. Hi, Mary Jo.
Great. I'm so glad you tuned in, Mary Jo. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for commenting. Yeah, if you have any other questions or comments, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll bring them up here and we'll address them. I want to thank everybody for watching, as always, and make sure if you're watching on YouTube, you hit subscribe. We do this show every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so please make sure you tune in every week. So, Kristie, another few questions for you before we wrap this up. So, want to talk a little bit about the industry itself, and the fact that you are a certified woman-owned business. And I mean, construction has been one of those things where it's traditionally very male dominated and things like that. I mean, and thank God it's gone more. There's definitely more of a blend going on. But from your perspective, I'd love to hear your perspective on the industry as a whole and where you see it going.
So I joined an organization, Metropolitan Builders and Contractors, which is predominantly, it's quite a few men in there, and they've embraced us. We have we're now officially a council with Professional Women in Building, which is a national organization. And so we've created our own council within Metropolitan Builders and Contractors, myself and 2 other women. And we're part of the international professional women in building, but now we have a local area, which is the Metropolitan Builders and Contractors. And we're just doing a bunch of really great things. We have really cool things planned, events. We're looking to really get involved with the vocational schools and bringing, so our big goal is, as a women council, we have women involved in the group, and our big goal is to be able to get these women and men in front of each other to continue to create more opportunities for everyone. And so I think that, there's other builders in there that are women, and it's an amazing thing. I don't think it's, I see it being just a norm, in the short future. There's definitely quite a few of us, and they're in there hitting with hammers and everything. And
Nice.
there's more women workers. So it's, it's a great thing to see it. A lot of diversity going on, that's for sure.
Yeah, and that's really wonderful. That I love to hear that. I love to see that. What kind of what would you say to anybody watching this right now? So if they're a woman and they are in this industry, or maybe they're looking to see if maybe getting into this industry could be for them, what sort of advice or any kind of counsel could you give them now as to where they could go to get some more information, or how to even get started?
I would say go for it. If that's your dream and that's what you want to do, go for it. As a little girl, I always wanted to build houses, and I never thought it actually ever happened. So I would say go for it. For those of you looking to get into the field, connect with me. We're looking to with the Professional Women in Building. It's an international organization, so they're all over the world, and so there's specific councils to specific areas, and we're looking to bring in vocational students. We're looking to create these different experiences for the individuals thinking about getting into the business, into this, into the construction world. If you're in the construction world and you are looking for work, the same thing. You could connect with me and I will guide you. There are many women-owned companies, from furniture places that are looking for individuals to prepare fit outs and things for furniture, to construction companies. It's not a hard area to do well in if you are a woman.
Yeah, the barrier of entry is no longer I feel like as thick as it used to be.
Follow your dreams. That's all I could tell you.
Yeah, I love that. It's such a great. I think that's what I'm going to title this episode, is just follow your dreams. I think that's truly amazing. What an awesome positive message. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. This has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. Where can people reach out to you? I did put your LinkedIn in this post, which I think is on top. If I point this way, the post is up there. But where's the best way for people to connect with you?
So the best place for you to connect with us is on Facebook and Instagram. We have a website where I'm on LinkedIn, but Facebook and Instagram is just so personal for us. We do a lot of interviews of our customers. We have a lot of our work there. It's a very open, forum for conversation, for connecting. So I would say there, Cleanscape Construction on Facebook, and CCC_Cleanscape CC on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I want to thank everybody once again for watching an episode of Rocket Live today. Once again, we do air every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch us on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. And every week I feature another guest where they come on and share their story to inspire and motivate all of you. So thank you, everybody, once again for watching. And always remember, be authentic, be yourself, and always remember to rock it.